Hello everyone, and welcome to another talk here. So we're going to think a little bit about modes and even kind of just tying into our theory and fingerboard. We're going to kind of figure out how to maybe even just identify, where the mode is and all of that. So we can do that with some kind of fairly simple concepts and everything. Okay, so one of the tunes that we're working on and thinking about here this month, or one of the featured tunes, is going to be "So What," and so we have a modal kind of tune, and I'm going to start out by maybe trying to gain some insights into the tune and its modes and all that, based a little bit just kind of on how it's written. Okay, so one part of the tune, we have these kind of major triads happening, kind of a triad pair. So we have, let's say, this chord, and then we're going to have this chord here. So at the beginning of the tune, the melody, the bass has the melody, and the chord player plays like this. Okay. So when you have two major, what's kind of significant about that is that when you have two major triads that sit a whole step away from each other, you can pretty much identify what mode of the basic major scale it is, right? Because we have three major triads in any given key center, and two of them sit a whole step apart. So then you can really identify what collection of notes, which is kind of what we're doing with this modal playing. Now let's just also just take another approach and survey, kind of what notes these are. We have six unique notes, right? We have the D, G, B. Okay, we have C, F, and A. Okay. So the only note that we don't have listed in there is the E. So that's 6 out of 7, right? Okay. So that's another way to really just kind of narrow it down. Okay, so let's say we have E here. Okay. And so we're thinking about how that sits into scale. All right, if we kind of place all those notes one by one, just like, let's say we have G major root position, and then we place it next to each one of those notes from the F as well. Or sorry, the G and the F. Okay. So let's check it out. Okay, so we have those notes, and then we have, in addition to that, it's the 7. So that's a really great way to practice the any given mode is to take the two majors and then maybe play the chord that you're working at. So let's say we have D minor. So ultimately we're in D Dorian. And so you could, just to get it in your ear and memorize it, you can just say, okay, F, G, and then D minor. Okay, so that'd be a really good kind of practice thing to do, is to work at that. All right. So I have kind of a basic backing track here going along. So play a little bit of it just to kind of get the sound. I'm going to try to emphasize those G and F major triads there. And we'll play a little bit on it here. Okay, so quite a lot of the time there I was playing using the triad pairs, which the major triad gives you a very strong kind of sound, stable sort of sounds, very recognizable to the ear. Those are just kind of a few ways I think about it. You might have a different perspective on it, but so having those triads in there and even making or kind of putting lines together out of the arpeggios of those. So those are some things that we can do as well. So just kind of to review this whole concept, we have the major triads, right? Which is kind of right out of the tune, right? Um, and so we know that there are only three of those, and two of them sit a whole step away, right? So then we can really kind of say, okay, we're kind of in the key of no sharps, no flats, right? So we have F and G, and in a sense, maybe I shouldn't say key, but so when you're thinking about modal play, we have a pool or a collection of tones that forms the basis of what the harmony's doing, and you can kind of hear it sitting on a very static sort of sound, and then it goes up a half step, right? So I'm using those same kind of triads, but a half step higher for the E flat minor. Okay. All right. So that would be the 4 chord and the 5 chord, and then whatever kind of key signature you're working from. Right. Well, let's play a couple more tunes here, and maybe we'll stick with a little bit of some of those triads, but we'll kind of depart a little bit from that idea of thinking about modes necessarily. But I wanted to share that, at least that kind of concept for now. All right, let's see. Play a little bit on Falling Grace. And maybe I'll kind of use some of these triads and things and think in terms of modes, maybe in a momentary sense, or chord scale. Some of these harmonies and things. All right, so there we have a little bit of an instance of where you could maybe think in terms of some similar kinds of concepts there. All right, now maybe I'll kind of go back a little bit and mention a little bit of of some of the concepts on so what. Um, I was also using a couple moments where just stepping outside, maybe using triads that are maybe not even related to the key center and might not even be major triads. So um, diminished triads or major triads that are just not in that key center. So those are a couple of things that we'll talk about. So that's one of the challenges with modal playing is that you have, like, let's say, a fairly static chord going on, but you still want to kind of create interest and maybe add some chromaticism to it. So then there are some techniques to doing that, is maybe embedding other chords that are not necessarily related to the original chord, or are related in a sort of a dissonant way to the chord itself. So we'll go back a little bit to so what, and try that out a little bit. Think about that. So hopefully the mix is pretty good. Okay, so similar kind of things there. Just kind of spent most of the first chorus just outlining the really just the tones in that um, in that collection of notes, 7 notes, and then stepped out a little bit, just exploring some different triads or different chords, even seventh chords, and playing arpeggios on those, and kind of continued with that throughout. Um, it can be a little bit tricky too, because when it goes up a half step, and then it sort of sounds like you're moving in and out half step by half steps, maybe it can get a little vague. So So just maybe something to be aware of on the on that B section there. But another thing explored a little bit there was stacking up fourths or playing on fourths. So that kind of thing to just kind of vary it up, change change things up a little bit. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for checking this out. Hope you enjoy this live stream, and I'll be back for another one tomorrow. All goes to plan. All right. See you all in the next one.